everybody, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I am in a hard hat in my blaze orange. I'm out on a construction site right now. Something that you may or may not know about me is that I am a professional engineer. It was after I got my first job as an engineer that I realized that I really was a creative and that I wanted to create. However, a long story short, although I am working my creativity on the side, I still have my full-time job as an engineer, which has really helped me in a lot of ways in my life. Although sometimes it's really frustrating because I can't use my creativity as much as I want on the job, it still has been an awesome stepping stone and an awesome thing to help me and my family achieve our dreams that we're moving towards. So today, I wanted to share with you something awesome that I have been able to do, which is turn my full-time job into passive income. Woohoo! So I know a lot of us are stuck in jobs that we don't really love, and ever since I read Tim Ferriss's The 4-Hour Workweek, I have been pretty much obsessed with the idea of a passive income stream. Well, luckily this year I finally was able to create a passive income stream that has been bringing in around $2,000 every month. Although I worked my butt off to create it, now it's just rolling in and I literally don't have to do anything. And so that is completely passive. I literally don't have to do anything for it. So first I'm going to tell you what this passive income stream is and the story of how I was able to create it. Then I'm going to tell you a little bit of behind the scenes of how I knew it would be a good idea and how this might be applicable to you. I'm going to give you a warning right now. It's very specific, and so it might not work for you, but maybe it can get your wheels turning and it might help you in some other way achieve something similar. First of all, I'm going to tell you what this thing is. I wrote an engineering book. That is my passive income stream source. So to become a professional engineer, you have to take the professional engineering exam, which is a super brutal 8-hour exam. It's super notorious and the failing rate is really, really high. So when I first started working as an engineer, my first boss and my first company were terrible to me. Like, it was really soul-sucking and it was painful. I'm not going to throw out any names, but it was really, really, really painful. I reached out to an environmental engineer in the community and we met up, and although she didn't have any opportunities for me, I felt a connection with her. Like, I felt like she was a free spirit like I was. And something that she told me, and this was a long time ago when I first started, so 7 years ago, she told me, you want your PE, which is Professional Engineering Certificate, which is where you can stamp plans and put the fancy acronym after your name. Now, it takes 4 years of experience to be able to take the exam at all. And so that meant that I was looking at 4 years minimum down the road that I was going to have to stick out this job that I really, really didn't like really hated, was really painful for me. But she told me, she's like, you want that PE. And I just trusted her. I don't know, there was something in me that just trusted her. I was like, okay, I want that. It gives you more clout, it gives you more street cred. I knew that I wanted that. So fast forward through, however many years of me sticking out this job that I didn't like, switching positions a few times. Now I have a boss that is amazing to me, coworkers that I love. So sorry, something I didn't mention was that in Montana, where I live now, you need 4 years of experience in order to take the exam at all. In California, which is where I moved from and where I went to school, my undergrad, you only need 2 years. So as soon as I was able to take the exam in California, I flew to California and I took the exam. I failed that exam so badly. I think I got like a 30% maybe. So bad. And what was really, really painful about it was that I studied my ass off for that test. And it turns out that I did not study right at all. And after I failed the exam, I realized that I was just being hasty and that before I was ever going to be able to pass this exam, which I knew that I wanted, I knew that I would regret not passing this exam because I had gone to undergraduate school. University is really expensive. I had done all of the schooling, I had gotten the experience, and so I just knew that if I gave up now, I would really feel just shitty about myself because I just gave up. because it was too hard. So I wasn't gonna let that happen to me. So after I failed the exam the first time, failed it really, really, really badly, and having to deal with the pain of like all the time I put in studying, everything I sacrificed to study, not to mention the test is really expensive, like the material and actually like the exam registration and stuff is really expensive. So I realized that I just needed to ground myself a little bit more. I needed to re-experience the joy in my life because I was going through a really dark period in my time. And so me hastily taking the exam was just another sign that I wasn't really doing it right. So I just decided to put the exam on hold and to rediscover the joy in my life, rediscover the joy in my marriage, you know, get outside more. This is when I started picking up my paintbrush again to just rediscover myself. And so I did that. I put it on hold, I forgot about it, and I knew I was just gonna take it again when I was ready. Fast forward 2 more years, I took the exam again and I studied right this time. So when I took the exam the second time, I freaking nailed it. Like when I was in the exam, I felt super confident. I left the exam knowing I had passed, and I felt really good about myself, which was the opposite of how I felt the first time. And so when I got the results back after the second time, I passed the exam, and oh my gosh, I'm feeling the joy all over again right now. But I passed the exam and I was so excited about it. It must have been within the same day of finding out. I realized that I wanted to write a review book for people for this exam, sharing with them my story and sharing with them how they could possibly, hopefully nobody's coming up to the truck. Oh, somebody's coming up to the truck. Hopefully they don't see me filming this video. No, okay, he's gone. I wanted to write a book for people that was basically the book that I wish that I had. So fast forward 2 years later, I was still writing this book. I finished it in 2 years. It had 3 practice exams. Each practice exam had 40 problems. Each of those 40 problems had 40 solutions, super in depth, and a whole introduction section. So it took me 2 years to write this exam, and I hired professional engineering friends and coworkers of mine to review the exam. I had my mom help me edit it because she was a professional editor at one point in her life. And I dedicated my freaking soul to this book. After 2 years, I published it. I'm not going to go into the details of the long and roundabout story of how I published it. When I got the idea to write the book, I didn't want to just write a book without knowing if it was actually going to sell, because that's a lot of freaking work. So one of the things I had done previously in my life when I was in the dark place in my life trying to escape my job, this is the thing that I was saying is very, very specific, but it's worked for me, and so I'm going to share it with you. I signed on to an Amazon course of how to sell things on Amazon. One of the things that they taught us was how to know whether something sells. There's a tool called Jungle Scout. It's a plug-in for your computer. You can plug it in, you can go to Amazon, you can go to a category or a single page of a product, and you can click on the plug-in and it'll tell you an estimate of what the volume is of sales this one product or this company makes. And you can do that for all the things on Amazon. It's an estimate. And I had that plugin from all those years ago. And so when I had the idea to write the book, I went to Amazon, I went to the books that I had bought. And mind you, one of the reasons I thought this might be a good idea was because there weren't that many practice exams for the exam. And that was what really, really helped me, was taking a lot of practice exams. And so I went to the practice exams that would be my competition in the future when I publish my book. I clicked on the Jungle Scout app and it told me that this was a really good idea. These people were making bank. And so I was like, okay, this is a great idea. So that is the super quick way of how I decided it was a good idea. I probably would recommend doing a little bit more research than that. But the spirit was moving in me and I was so excited, and this basically affirmed my idea. And so I just freaking went for it. December of last year, 2020, I finally got my book up on Amazon. There was a lot of funny things that happened that I had to kind of figure out. And so it took a while. But now my book is finally selling. It's only September in 2021 and I'm already bringing in about $2,000 a month. So that's the story of how I got my idea, what my product is, and how I kind of brought it to life. So now I wanted to get to how this information can help you. If you have a full-time job like I do, maybe you have a mortgage that you have to pay, maybe you are saving up for something. If we just took my idea and made it broader, if you are in a field that requires some kind of training, some kind of education, some kind of exam, some kind of coursework. Another thing that I had always kept in mind I remember in the 4-Hour Workweek, Tim Ferriss had an example of a guy who made a video series about how to install security cameras in businesses so the owners of the businesses could do it themselves. And I remember that the guy made like $250,000 a year or something from selling these. And $2,000 a month is not anywhere close to that yet, but I'm just getting started. So I remember that story from the 4-Hour Workweek, and I remember just thinking, hey, that's a good idea. You know, these things that nobody else thinks about, or that's like really obscure, sometimes that's the jackpot. So anyway, I hope this has inspired you to maybe think outside of the box a little bit about how you could take your circumstances that maybe aren't perfect for you right now, or maybe you're trying to escape, and how you could apply them to actually working in your benefit. So I would love it if you guys would let me know what you thought about this video. Let me know if you have similar stories, or if you have an idea, or maybe you have a question about this process. I would love to share more. Please like this video if you found it valuable, and subscribe on that little red box. I'm just a simple woman and all I need is a little subscription button clicking. I will chat with you guys later, and thanks for watching.